Hello and welcome back to Lucky Crit. Sorry for the delay with getting this news to you. I was focused on my Shozokaga retrospective for the last little bit. However, we have quite the variety of little tidbits related to Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes that have been coming out over the past little while. So it's finally time to dive back in and discuss the latest on this upcoming crossover title. The official Warriors 3 Hopes Twitter account has been slowly drip feeding us with information. Most of it is stuff that we could already tell from the trailer, but in some cases it does fill in some of the little blanks that we'd had coming away from that second trailer. As revealed in that recent trailer, we know there's going to be 3 phases to the gameplay of 3 Hopes, these being the preparation phase, the war map phase, and the battle phase. During the preparation phase, you'll be able to explore base camp and partake in a number of different activities, including training, class changing, helping with tasks, and cooking. Presumably you'll also be able to buy new weapons and battalions here too, and perhaps reforge and repair them as well, considering weapon durability will be present in this game as an added new twist to the typical Warriors fare. Training is performed in pairs. Characters will earn experience for their selected class and gain support points between each other. And like in 3 Houses, as the class level increases, new abilities or skills can be learned and weapon levels may increase too. You'll also be able to change character classes here. Mastering classes allows characters to access higher tier classes, and all characters can freely access all types, barring some exclusive ones. So much like 3 Houses, you can look forward to freely developing your characters while considering each of their individual unique aspects. I'm excited to see some of the crazy builds that I'm sure some of you guys out there will come up with. In helping with tasks, 2 characters can be selected to assist with various tasks at base camp. By helping, the participating characters will earn support points. Like the main game linking these activities to proficiencies, in 3 Hopes it seems that each character will perform better or worse at certain tasks. Just don't let Dimitri eat the weeds.
Please do not eat the weeds.
With cooking, you can share food with your allies. You can choose to dine together with 2 characters, and they'll gain support points and morale. In addition, meals provide beneficial effects during battle. So just like the dining hall in the main game, you'll be able to raise support between allies, gain different effects based on the type of meal that the characters share, and also gain the new bonus of raising morale that allows characters to deal more damage in battle. Morale is going to be pretty important. In the war map phase, you'll march your troops while controlling the surrounding areas as you travel to reach the area with the main quest on the map. Each main mission will function as a chapter in the main games. However, they'll also have these added map areas and events to explore along the way. The events that may occur are ones such as Anna the Merchant, who of course sells rare goods, and surveying spots that yield rewards. Clearing subquests along the way will allow you to receive activity points, presumably to spend back at base camp for training sessions and other interactions, kinda like the monastery activity points in 3 Houses. So you may have to pick and choose what's most important for your army in each preparation phase. And of course, the battle phase is where the typical warrior-style hack-and-slash gameplay will occur. However, we do know that there will also be some cool new improvements to the gameplay here, alongside returning 3 Houses features like adjutants and demonic beasts. I'm still not positive on the exact pronunciation of the protagonist's name, but I'm just gonna keep it simple and go with Shez for now. But it could be that, or Shay, or Shays, whatever. This tidbit shared by Black Kite further elaborates on Shez's role in the story. In the story of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Byleth was hired to teach one of the 3 Houses. In the story of Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, Shez will join one of the 3 Houses as its student, and though it's still unclear, it seems likely that Byleth will not be a professor in this timeline. At least we have no solid reasoning to believe so, based upon their position as an antagonist. Shez will encounter Byleth in Imperial Year 1179, which is 1 year before the story of 3 Houses occurs. He or she then wanders Fodlan, honing their skills for a rematch, eventually stumbling upon the other students chased by bandits. Shez wandering Fodlan likely occurs after being killed by Byleth and then revived by the new deity character Arvel, or Larva, the Japanese name. The protagonist will then become a student of one of the 3 Houses, Black Eagles, Blue Lions, or Golden Deer. And depending upon their choice, the story will branch out into the perspectives of the Empire, Kingdom, and Alliance respectively, much like the branching paths of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. The official Warriors 3 Hopes Twitter account has also been occasionally tweeting out some character bios from the game, including the 3 lords and their retainers so far. I covered this last time in my previous video, so if you'd like to check out that information, go take a look by clicking in the top right here. Also, worth noting based upon what we touched on last time, I do agree with many of you that it seems that Shez will not be taking on the silent protagonist role that Byleth had. as we've already heard them speak in the trailer, and I think a silent protagonist just wouldn't work the same way in a Warriors game as it did in Three Houses. Plus, this being a new Warriors original character, I think Koei Tecmo would be missing out to not flesh them out on screen in front of the player. We already know that characters like Judith will be present in this game, and likely playable, so another great question I've seen many of you asking is whether or not we'll see the return of the Ashen Wolves in Three Hopes. Personally, I think it would be a huge mistake for them to not appear in some fashion as playable characters. I'm hoping that they won't once again just be denigrated to DLC characters that we'll have to buy later, but we're gonna have to wait and see. The roster in Fire Emblem Three Houses, even with some of the characters unplayable in that game like Judith potentially being playable here, still isn't too huge, so hopefully they'll return and we'll get to use them. I think it's safe to say that considering the relatively small roster that Three Houses has, I'd be surprised to not see at least all of the students from each house make an appearance though. It's also worth noting that in the brief scene we saw of what is very likely to be Hilda's brother Holst fighting what looks to be Caspar's father Count Burgleys, this potential Burgleys character has the crest of Keyhole on his loincloth, indicating a connection with the other Keyhole crest bearers, Sedith and Ferdinand. In Fire Emblem Three Houses, it was never established what crest the Burgleys family had, though we did know that whatever it was, Caspar wasn't born with it. So this could reveal that the Burgleys family also shares the crest of Keyhole, and share an ancestral or family tree connection with the Eyre family also in the Empire. We know this is possible because both Hanneman and Bernadetta share the crest of Indek, and both are from different families, the Esser and Varley families respectively. The character also looks to be in a brawler-esque class, and wielding two Ochain shields, which in Three Houses were sacred shields linked to the crest of Keyhole that increased the bearer's physical defense, restored HP, and granted immunity to critical hits. The brawler class fits with Caspar and would make sense for his lineage, so if this is truly the case, then it's a nice little reveal to that still unanswered question from Three Houses. This screenshot shows a nice little battle forecast when controlling allied units from the map screen, very akin to normal Fire Emblem combat windows. From the recent Famitsu magazine spotlight on the game, and thanks to both Black Kite and Serenes Forest for the compilation of this information, we know that each character in the game will have preferred classes, and some of these will be exclusive to those characters. Shez's class, Flugel for example, will be one of the exclusive ones, which makes a lot of sense. And it's this class that appears to be what allows Shez to dual wield two swords, which I hadn't considered. The article discusses Hubert preferring to be a dark mage, Hilda a brigand, and Dedue an armored knight, to the surprise of literally no one. Like in the main game, personal skills will also be returning, and character elements will also be a part of the game, as we've seen from Nintendo Dream screenshots and trailer footage. Hubert attacks using dark magic, enemies hit by Hubert will be embedded with spikes. The player can then detonate these spikes at will, causing a dark elemental explosion in the surrounding area. It doesn't appear that these elements will solely be all that character has access to though, as we can also see when looking more closely at the trailer footage, that combat arts and spells that characters can learn will also of course have their own elements associated with them. Raising characters' class levels will allow them to unlock new combat arts and spells, and akin to how characters had individual combat arts and spell lists in Three Houses, characters in Three Hopes will also learn different ones even when in the same class. We also received some new tidbits of info and screenshots from a recent Japanese Nintendo Dream magazine, though we did know most of what it revealed already. It did reveal, however, that gameplay-wise, Edelgard's attacks will be based on the fire element, Dimitri's will be lightning, and Claude's will of course feature the wind element. This makes a lot of sense, with Edelgard being the Flame Emperor, Claude's true heritage, abilities, and story path referring to wind, and Dimitri's spell list should you actually choose to invest in him magically in Three Houses, which included Thunder and Thoron. It's a nice touch. We also know that once again Edelgard will get access to her exclusive Armored Lord class from Three Houses, and her flame-clad attacks will be able to set foes ablaze. When ablaze, enemies will continuously suffer damage, and could even explode if you keep pressing on with the attack. We've also learned that Dimitri will have access once again to his exclusive High Lord class from Three Houses. With his attacks being able to be attuned to the thunder element, he'll be able to shock enemies. Shocked enemies can be knocked back, causing them to discharge and damage other enemies in their vicinity, allowing the shocked status to spread. And Hilda's has a lightning effect to it as well. The magazine also did not establish the character of Monica as being Monica, instead opting to refer to her as a girl with an unknown identity. So either they're choosing to keep whether or not she's Kranya or Monica under wraps, or perhaps she is actually just Kranya with the same disguise. One thing is for certain though, like we touched upon last time, she is wearing the same style of earring accessory that Edelgard is wearing in her new design. So this may indicate that once again Edelgard is on some level siding with those who slither in the dark, at least initially. Unless Monica is just a Black Eagle student this time, and that's why she's got that accessory. However, the initial trailer kinda made it seem like Rhea as the Immaculate One was trying to attack Monica, so that does make it harder for me to see Monica as just being a normal student. Look, Rhea might be sketchy, but she's not that sketchy. Do keep in mind though that Edelgard doesn't have Eimer, the relic weapon created or at least modified by the Agarthans, so siding with them but not having this weapon is interesting, unless it's not finished yet. Maybe we'll see a different version of Eimer later, or she'll unlock it in a future class. But it is interesting that they opted to make her character art for the game not feature this weapon. While all of this information may seem like the death knell to the popular fan theory about this game finally featuring a golden ending between the three main lords, the article does go on to imply that there might be fluctuating allegiances throughout the game, which could bode well for Edelgard eventually coming around to the idea of siding with the others. Keep in mind that while none of this is confirmation of that golden route, the original Fire Emblem Warriors did feature many characters coming together in the end to defeat the actual ultimate final boss. Darius, though, he died. It was also revealed that in the European Special Edition, the two mystery acrylic figures we were wondering about are actually just going to be the male and female variations of Shez, which makes a lot of sense. This way, regardless of which gender of the character you decide on, you're gonna get the one that you want. Alongside these figures and the art book, it's also going to include a tapestry map of Fodlan and a character postcard set. The tapestry map looks to be rather tablecloth-like and can be hung on the wall as a poster. As for the character postcard set, these are individual postcards with characters from the game's roster, and in this image of them, we can finally see a more up-close version of what both of Shez's in-game portraits will look like. Be sure to keep in mind that we don't always get the exact same special editions as they release in other countries, so ours is very likely to be different than these. I wouldn't get my hopes up about any of these specific items. I'm sure that ours will have some cool stuff as well though. If you've yet to see my breakdown of the recent second trailer, be sure to do so for even more information beyond this video. At this point, it is less than T-2 months. If you enjoyed this analysis and speculation of this upcoming game, get subscribed to stay up to date on all the latest Fire Emblem news. If and when we hear anything, I'll be sure to cover it, and I'll be doing my classic trailer breakdowns and analyses of any future information that we get in the lead up to the game, so be sure to stick around the Lucky Crit channel. If you like this video, please slash the thumbs up down below to help it out, share the video too if you'd like, and be sure to let me know your thoughts on this information in the comment section down below. Are you excited about any of this new information? What's the most exciting for you? Let me know. I also want to thank the patrons for supporting the channel and helping make videos like this possible. Thanks guys, you're awesome. You can also now become a channel member too by clicking down below and getting some cool exclusive emotes. I'll be sure to do more streaming in the near future, so stay tuned for that as well. And if you use alternative platforms like BitChute, Odyssey, or Rumble, be sure to follow Lucky Crit over there, as I'll be producing some exclusive content for those sites eventually that you won't be able to find here on YouTube. And I'll see you all next time.